is no better time than now to have a coach to help navigate through what's going on here. I mean, we've often talked to John about how in the last few years, real estate agents almost became order takers, with low rates and with things just continuing to plow forward. What's it like now? You're coaching, I know you're actively coaching a number of some of the top agents across the country. What are you really focusing on now with your top players?
It's interesting. I think it's making sure that they haven't lost sight of the goal. And like you said, with real estate agents over the last few years, they have become, a lot of them were forced into that order taker role, which made them very reactive and formed some bad habits. And they got a little sloppy. They maybe got away from paying attention to the details. They've got away from, setting the budget, reviewing the financials, being disciplined to, the business fundamentals, the 101. And, a lot of, especially a lot of real estate agents, because, this seen it over and over again, is such a low barrier of entry to get in. They get in and a lot of them don't have any business sense or any business 101. And so being, especially if an agent that you got in over the last few years, yeah, you were an order taker and you were cashing checks. Whereas now you've got to move away from that. You've got to, break away from those bad habits. And what do you have to do to be proactive within your control on a daily basis? But I think the big thing is creating visibility into their business and understanding, the whole process of, how many deals do you want to close, because that will equal the amount of money you're wanting to make. How much money do you have going out? And then there is this thing called profit that we want to establish and have a profit number. And it was really eye-opening, I think, for a lot of people, especially earlier in this year, that were struggling, that were trying to navigate, make some changes, trying to figure things out. And the biggest thing was, okay, where are your numbers? Let's get back, show me the P&L, show me the KPIs, show me really what we need to be paying attention to. And that way it'll identify the constraints, and then we know where to focus and we know what decisions to make moving into, the next quarter, the second half of the year. And, as we're having this conversation midway through Q3, really starting to utilize that data and not thinking about, hey, how do we get through this month? How do we get into Q4? But what are we doing to position ourselves to have a great Q1? And that's where working with a lot of the agents right now, it's like, hey, we're making decisions to set ourselves up for an incredible Q1. And they're like, well, John, it's only mid Q3. Yes, exactly. We have to be thinking that far down the road. And, I always like to share one of my favorite Dan Sullivan quotes, right? If you're not happy with your present situation, is because your future's not big enough. And for our present to be better, our future has to be bigger. And so we need to be thinking bigger. We need to be thinking Q1, Q2, and we're going to take the activities required to get through the rest of Q3, rest of Q4. So we're in a really good position going into seasonality, what is typically the lowest percentage of sales throughout the year happening in January, February, and March. And even in DFW, one of the hottest markets on the planet, there's still only 18-19% of the home sales happen in Q1. And so what are you doing to position yourself now to where you get your percentage of that 18 or 19% in the first quarter?